Welcome to my channel. Today we'll explore 8 must-know idioms you'll hear in daily conversations. By the end, you'll know how to use them. Ready? Let's get started. Under the weather means feeling a little sick, like when you have a cold, headache, or feel tired. It's used when you're not feeling your best. For example, Sarah didn't come to work today because she's feeling under the weather.
I understand that Mr. White is feeling a little under the weather this morning.
Perhaps I am a little under the weather.
He's in the bathroom. He's a little under the weather.
Also, I've been under the weather lately, so it may not be my best work.
I'm a little under the weather.
Just woke up feeling a little under the weather.
I'm feeling a tad under the weather this morning.
Oh, he's fine. Bit under the weather.
Marshall, when it's stomach stuff, you just say under the weather.
Just been a little under the weather.
She said you've been under the weather.
The fact is, Tony isn't under the weather today.
Yeah, well, Bernadette's a little under the weather and...
Yes, he's still under the weather.
Now, I can see you're feeling somewhat under the weather.
He's feeling a bit under the weather, you see.
You don't want to be under the weather when the weather's bad.
Spill the beans means to tell a secret or share information that is supposed to be kept private. For example, Emma accidentally spilled the beans about their vacation plans. Now, her kids are excited because they know they're going to Disney World next week.
And you come along with this crap, and you force me to pull an old classic Lily and spill the beans.
You're just trying to get me to spill the beans because Donna wouldn't.
I can give you more info soon. If you don't spill the beans, then I get killed.
I'm not going to spill any more beans.
All right.
You want me to spill the beans?
Now is the time for all good men to spill the beans.
Come on, spill the beans.
You have so few good ideas, Leonard. And you're just gonna spill the beans in front of an outsider?
So come on, spill the beans. Are you actually Ladybug?
So if I keep that money, then they're gonna spill the beans on you?
So I tried to get you to spill the beans, which you wouldn't do.
Well, time to spill the beans.
So why don't you just go ahead and spill the beans?
Spill the beans or get out.
Spill the beans or I'll spill your blood.
No matter who asks, you can't spill the beans. I would never spill the beans. I love beans.
Cut corners means to do something by breaking rules or not following all the steps, usually to save time or money. For example, John cut corners by skipping steps while painting the house, and now the paint is uneven and peeling off.
Listen to me! This whole building is unsafe! They cut corners everywhere!
Look, I don't need to cut corners, Kev. I can make weight.
We have cut corners year after year.
So, yeah, I'm sure you can understand our need to cut corners around here.
The guys who cut corners cannot be trusted.
We both cut corners to get close to her, but that wasn't cheating.
Well, I guess you have to cut corners with the real estate market the way it is.
Well, not completely, but let's face it, you do cut corners.
Cutting corners.
When I first met Mike Ross, I thought he was like every other criminal I work with. An entitled fraud who spent his life cutting corners.
To be smart, you are going to cut corners.
You don't cut corners. And now it's, oh yeah, we cut corners because we had to.
Cutting corners is what you've been doing. Don't cut corners when you're growing your pot.
Getting caught cutting corners is the last thing I need right now, Lucifer.
I always cut corners.
If there's anything suspect, it'll be cutting corners to get the conviction.
If the deadline was tight and I had to cut corners, I had no paperwork at all.
Now, I'm not telling you to cut corners, but we need to move things along.
People cut corners. You have to let things slide.
Call it a day means to stop working or doing something because you've done enough for the day. It's used when you're ready to finish a task. For example, after working for hours, Mike decided to call it a day and went home to relax.
Sure, let's call it a day.
I think we take the safer bet and call it a day.
Just be a nice guy. Call it a day.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to call it a day.
Let's call it a day before it gets, too dark. Let's call it a day, guys.
Let's call it a day.
Let's not. Let's call it a day.
Maybe we should just call it a day.
Oh, hey!
Let's call it a day.
Okay, well, I'm going to call it a day.
So let's just track the rest of the street and call it a day.
You can grab this tree and call it a day, huh?
Let's get that brain out and wait and call it a day.
Oh, well done. That's it. Time to call it a day now.
Well, you know what? Maybe you just want to give him a free period and call it a day.
What does that mean, call it a day?
Should we call it a day?
You know, we can get right back in our car and call it a day.
Your dad's right. You are a natural. But I think we should call it a day.
Do we go back to our cells,
Call it a day. Mac, hey, let's call it a day. I'll take Ruby back.
How about we call it a day?
I can't just stack bills in a wall and call it a day.
On the same page means that two or more people agree or understand something in the same way. For example, the team was finally on the same page after the meeting, and they all knew what to do next.
I'm sorry you're upset with me, but I just have to say it's nice to see the two of you on the same page.
First things first, we need to have a contract so we're on the same page about the rules.
No, just want to make sure we're on the same page.
We're all on the same page.
So, just want to make sure we're on the same page about everything.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
Susan and I are on the same page about this.
We're all on the same page, Bogdan.
We're on the same page.
Wow. We're on the same page that right now you are judging me, right?
I don't think we are on the same page.
So we're on the same page.
Now that we're all on the same page, let's get together tonight and work on it.
We're all on the same page.
We've got to be on the same page. You won't get anywhere with her until you two get on the same page, right?
All right, I think we need to all get on the same page for what to do about this Gina situation.
All right, then, so we're all on the same page.
But the important thing is we're on the same page.
Those two are never on the same page.
Good thinking. Thanks, Morty. Yeah, it's nice to be on the same page every once in a while.
I'd like everybody here to be on the same page about it.
I just want to make sure that you and I are on the same page.
I'm just glad we're on the same page now, Chloe.
I said we need to be on the same page.
I want to get on the same page.
Just for the record, I am not on the same page.
Bend over backwards means to try really hard to help someone or do something, even if it's difficult. For example, Tom bent over backwards to help her friend move to a new house, even though he was very busy.
I smiled and bent over backwards, giving them service, all for $1.47.
If the goal is to win and we're bending over backwards...
I think you're bending over backwards.
I've been bending over backwards trying to be nice to you.
My new roommate is bending over backwards to ingratiate himself to me.
I am willing to bend over backwards.
My whole life, I have been bending over backwards to protect your feelings.
The whole company's gonna bend over backwards because she can't get over herself.
Be doing everything that she can, bending over backwards to make you happy.
Well, you and me, we have to bend over backwards to get a woman to, well, bend over backwards.
We're bending over backwards to help him fund this dam project.
I'm done. That's it. I'm tired of bending over backwards for you.
You're bending over backwards to avoid taking the one action you should.
No, I'm bent over backwards in love with you.
Bend over backwards for every single person in the world?
Bend over backwards to please Chuck.
He has been bending over backwards to make you like him.
And your father would bend over backwards, trying to make me laugh.
It's not rocket science means something is easy to understand or do. It's used when someone is making something seem harder than it really is. For example, the grandfather smiled and said to his grandson, "It's not rocket science to fix your bike. We just need to fix the tire, then it will be as good as new."
Jesus, what's so bloody hard? Pick up, put down. It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science, Falk. You know,
It's not rocket science. It's putting flowers in glue.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. This isn't rocket science.
Like it's party planning. It's not rocket science, okay?
well, it's not rocket science.
Barb, it's not rocket science.
Don't worry, it's not rocket science.
Kid, he wants a board with wheels. It's not rocket science.
Hey, it's not rocket science.
Doesn't matter to me, it's not rocket science.
It's depressing, but it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science.
This isn't rocket science, all right?
It's not rocket science, Castleman.
It's not rocket science, eh?
This isn't rocket science, it's brain surgery.
Apple of someone's eye means someone you love and care about very much. It's usually used to talk about family or close friends. For example, Emily's daughter is the apple of her eye. She always makes sure to spend quality time with her.
I'm just a corn-fed Kansas boy, but you people are the big apple of my eye.
Oh, look who it is. My husband, the apple of my eye.
You're the apple of my eye, Hattie.
He was the apple of my eye until you consumed him.
You are the apple of my eye, the thump in my heart.
He's the apple of the corner of my eye.
Kid's the apple of my eye.
Liam.
You're the apple of my eye.
You're the apple of my eye.
Who's the caramel apple of Mommy's eye?